Greetings everybody, welcome. It's Macro Talk, live from Boston, Minnesota, I think, somewhere like that. It was far enough away that it took hours to get here. I hope you can hear me. I didn't realize till I got here that I needed a lot of other equipment that I didn't bring. So this is very much thrown together. I'm in the hotel room in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Just got back in from the studio a minute ago, and yeah, it's been a very long couple of days. The travel was, I suppose it was okay as travel goes, but it was exhausting as well, because my flight left at, I can't remember, early in the morning before the sun came up, and I had to drive hours to the airport. So it's been a long, hectic couple of days. And yeah, we're just going to have to wing it. I did shoot lots of footage today from the recording session, but I don't know whether or not it's going to even play the way I've got it set up here, because I didn't bring the right things with me. There's a surprise. But anyway, I just wanted to say hi to everybody, tell you what's going on up here. Everything will be back to normal next week, I hope. And we will be doing the live stream from the venue on Thursday. That will be the afternoon one, 3 o'clock Boston time, 2 o'clock usual time. And we'll be doing that one live from the recording studio. The place that I've been all day is called the Bridge, and it's just right across the square from Harvard. So I can now say I've been to Harvard. Yeah, that's all I'll say though. And I'll say hi to everybody in just a second. But yeah, I have never been to Boston when it wasn't snowing before, or when it hadn't recently been snowing for 4 months or whatever. And I used to think that Boston was a very depressing town because yeah, it just always looked like it was oppressed by the snow. Well, there's no snow here at all, and it's fairly balmy outside, and it's even more depressing because you can see everything now. So yeah, if you're from Boston, forgive that, but yeah, it's a fairly dreary place, though today was pretty. Staying in a nice hotel, you can see out the window there. Oh, that was leaning the wrong way. Yeah, a couple of buildings out there, and that's it. You can't see the Eiffel Tower from here, I discovered, or the Empire State Building. That's not in Boston. So yeah, I haven't had a chance to do anything touristy, though I don't think I will, actually, because the band is keeping me busy. They're working 10 or 12-hour days at the studio, and this is their 6th album. And they're very good at what they do, but it's just a lot of work, and it was a lot of fun too. Shot lots and lots of pictures and lots of video footage, but I haven't had a chance to do anything with any of it, and I'm not going to be able to play any of it tonight. Unfortunately, I really wanted to, but the band did great. They're from all over the world, actually. There's a guy from New Zealand, and my brother's from California, and then we got folks from Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, it's quite the group, and they're very excellent musicians and a lot of fun to spend the day with. I'll probably be a bit tired of it by the end of the week though. If you've never had an opportunity to photograph musicians when they're making a record or making a recording, I'm going to talk about that tonight just a little bit. I'm going to tell you what I've learned so far, and you know, I've done this before, but never with stakes this high. This is a big album for them, and they wanted some really nice pictures. That's why they flew me up here. So it's been a learning experience, and I want to go over with you what I've learned and the equipment I brought and what I shouldn't have brought and what I should have brought, which aren't always the same thing, but we'll get to that in a minute. Let me say hi to everybody. I take it you can hear me because people are saying hello, and yeah, then there's questions already rolling in. Let me just see one thing, just on the off chance. Oh, the other thing we're doing tonight is the competition. as I mentioned to somebody, we're doing the competition, and I'm not going to be able to share the pictures, I don't think, because I don't have a screen that's big enough to show all that. So we'll try it though. I've got one video clip that may or may not play. I'm going to give it a shot, but I will immediately bail on that if it doesn't work. Let's see what happens when I click on this. Oh yeah, I don't know what that's showing at all. So let me go back to where we were. That isn't doing it. How about this? Yeah, that's the band. And you can't hear anything, I don't think. Probably you can't. That's the band. They're listening to their most recent track that they just recorded. And that was it. That was all there was to it. And we'll go back to where we were. But that's just one tiny clip that didn't have a lot of noise for me to deal with. But that was the band up here in Boston, and they're having a good time. So let me say hi to some folks and see what's going on. If you have questions, now would be a good night to ask them, because I haven't had a chance to prepare anything scintillating and fascinating. By the way, for those of you who made it to the Presume on Saturday, thank you for coming, and thank you for making it such an enjoyable and engaging couple of hours. It was absolutely my favorite Zoom meeting so far that we had. We talked a lot about art and AI bigger picture stuff as well. And there was lots of interesting discussion and comments, and I think we had fun too. We made some AI pictures together, and they're all posted over on Patreon, and some of them are really pretty brilliant. Anyway, it was a good time, and maybe at some point in the future I can do this for the whole crowd, and we can try it again. But certainly it was fun. So thanks for everybody who came. All right, so Robert is here, Robert Wester from Ocala. Robert has donated the prize for this competition this month. And I think I set an expectation that we had to have 50 entries in order to award the prize. We didn't get 50 entries. And I think that probably what I am going to do is hold the prize over until next month and add something else to it so that the prize will get bigger. Yeah, let's see when we get to the competition. I'll have a chance to think a bit more about that. But thank you to Robert for generously donating the lens, which is a 50mm f2. And it's the same lens that was actually won by Bruce last month, but he declined the prize, thinking it would be better served going to somebody else who was newer to photography. So that was very generous and very kind of him. So I think we may roll it over again this month, but if we do, I will add something else of great value to it. All right, so Robert's here, Robert Storost. Welcome, my friend. How are you? Yep, I'm doing macro talk from Beantown, right enough. I still don't know why it's called that, though. They don't seem to have any kind of beans here at all. I couldn't even find a coffee shop this morning, and there isn't any in the hotel room, which is atrocious. Not the hotel room. The hotel room's very nice. Do you know how I got this hotel room? My son booked it for me. Isn't that nice? My son. Yeah. Those of you who know my son, that's very nice. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate it. ND Cannon Shooter, greetings from North Dakota, where you're in the middle of yet another blizzard. Well, you should move to Boston. It's nice here. No blizzards. Gustavo, welcome from Texas. And Jeff Martin from Idaho. Gosh, we're from all over, aren't we? You guys are from Idaho and from Texas, and I'm from Boston this week. Phil's here from Cambria in California. And Amy 5, who's kind of looking after the show along with Bud Parrott, are both here this evening. Moderators of great distinction, I would say. Mike Olson's here from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, though you didn't say sunny. Mike, is it not sunny there today? I mean, it's hard to tell from that. Arthur, welcome. And Gary's here also. John Lamb's here from Northern Ireland, and Gochi Andonovsky's here from Macedonia. Great. Where is Macedonia? I've had Macedonian nuts before, and they're delicious. Yeah, but no, I don't know where that is. Macedonia, Eastern Europe somewhere, probably. All right. Well, we'll see. What are you doing awake at 2 o'clock in the morning? Is what I want to know. Yeah, don't understand that one. Paul, Minnesota, welcome. And Amy 5, tornado outbreaks going on in Iowa right now. Well, be safe. Take cover. Whoever's in Iowa. I mean, geez, the storms have been shocking all over this year. I hope everybody's safe and takes cover. Jeff, nearly 40 years since you last visited Boston. Yeah, curious to see what's changed. Well, you're not going to see anything. Except, was this here, this window? Because that's all you're going to see of Boston. I was going to record some video today, but the studio that I'm recording at is, well, it looks like a warehouse, except just a little grubby warehouse from the outside. From the inside, it's magical. It's the most beautiful musical and recording space I've ever seen in my life. It was a gas station or something before, but now it is stunning. And I'll be showing you pictures of the place and video. And I will make a video of this trip up here, which I'll probably do tomorrow. I'll record it. But the space on the outside is just incredibly bland and boring. And there's not much to look at in this part of Cambridge, honestly. So I didn't really film very much of it. I went to a woodworking shop at lunchtime today called Rockler. Anybody's ever heard of it? That was disappointing too, because it was very small. I thought it would be very big, but yeah, well, there you go. So I can't tell you if anything's changed in the last 40 years. Nothing's changed in the last 20 anyway, since I first came up here. I ran the Boston Marathon, by the way, and yeah, that was another miserable experience in Boston. Very cold that day as well. So let me see. You won't, like I say, you won't see anything that's changed from this video, but well, I'm here. And that's different. I wasn't here 40 years ago. All right. So David F. Good evening from Western Canada. Western Canada. That would be British Columbia, right? Or yeah, that's it. That's the only place in Canada that I know. Western Canada. Let me see. Oh, Amy's in Cambridge, Minnesota. Same as me. Boston, Minnesota. That's a small world. Wave to Amy out the window there. Gary, I don't know what that little symbol means of the hands in front of the eyes. Are you seeing something you shouldn't be seeing in the reflection of the window or something? Hope not. Macro everything around me. Welcome, my friend. How's it going? How are your dragonfly nymphs coming along that you're farming? Look forward to seeing those. Joseph's here from Detroit. I am enjoying Boston. Yeah, it's interesting. It's quite nice. It's boring, really. The indoor parts have been very nice. The people have been very nice. They remind me more of people from the South than people from like New York. I don't know where New York is in relation to this. I think it's further south than this, but who knows? It moves around. Andrew's here. Good evening. Andrew, you're a teacher, aren't you? I think you are. Can't remember why I needed to know that, but it's good to know that now. Good evening, Alistair. How's it going? And Arthur's crying again. Somebody pat him on the arm so he feels better. Okay, so Gochi's telling me that Macedonia is in the Balkans, which helps a lot. Does it help anybody else? It doesn't help me either. I don't know really exactly where the Balkans are. Eastern Europe still, right? I'll look it up. Question from David, or to me or anybody else who wants to answer it. Has anyone had any experience with speed boosters and macro photography? I'm about to buy a Canon R7 and need an adapter for my 100mm macro. So yeah, who can answer that question? Because I can't. A speed booster in macro photography. Somebody who will be able to answer this question without even breaking a sweat is going to be Photographer 85 or Joseph. Either one of those people are excellent. And I just see that Photographer 85 is here. Chris, welcome. And you've got a question. When you prepare your bugs, do you only use a stereo microscope or do you use a normal magnifying glass loops as well? Okay, great question. I have a fantastic microscope that has a nice long working distance. It's a Leica, it's very bright, and ever since getting it, I've stopped using loops altogether. I have a set of surgical loops that I used to use in the operating room, but the working distance is hands comfortably at waist level with my eyes in my head as normal, and that's far too long a working distance to work on bugs. So I would need a different kind of loop to do that, and it just wasn't comfortable wearing them. So I bought a visor with magnifying glasses, and I loved that thing because I could add light wherever I wanted it, but it's superfluous with this microscope. When I was using the Amscope dissecting microscope, which I didn't like as much, though I liked it fine when I had it, the field of view was too small, and I would frequently use the visor instead. But it's really dependent on what you're working with. If you're working with bamboo weevils, for example, which are 4 inches long, probably just a loop or a magnifying glass is all you need, and it's all I would use. But the kind of things I work on, they're all very, very small, so yeah, it's got to be a microscope. But if you were working, say, on clown weevils, which I've been doing a lot lately, which will be as big as 8mm, I will use the microscope, but I could use a magnifying glass. I've got a big lit magnifying glass. Get a terrible headache using it, though, because of the distortion. So there you go. That probably doesn't help. What's the name of the band, Allan? Says David F. They're called the Bludgers. Bludgers. They've been around, the same band with the same makeup for about, excuse me, I got the sniffles on the aeroplane. Well, it was a cold, I think. Yeah. But anyway, the name of the band's the Bludgers. They've been around for 20 years. They've got 6 albums out. And they've some of the band members were quite famous. They've been in other big bands. And yeah, they're a kind of an Americana, rock Americana band. They write all their own original music, and yeah, they're very good. I've listened to them. I've done lots of their photography before. In fact, I did a video shooting one of their album covers, which was the one prior to this. So yeah, they're great. They're fantastic people to work with. They're all very nice. They're all professionals. One of them is a mathematics teacher. My brother is a doctor. His I think it's his best friend in the band. Well, I shouldn't say that, should I? In case the others would get upset. Another one of the band members is the director of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio. Does that sound right to anybody? Cleveland Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, he's in charge of all the priceless goodies that they have on display there. So that's an interesting job. I don't know what the other chap does. There's a gentleman in New Zealand. I think he might be a teacher too. Anyway, he's an actor. He's an actor on stage. So they're very interesting people, very nice, very good musicians. So that was more answer than you wanted, David, wasn't it? But there you go. Hang on, I've got to go back up a bit because I think I missed some questions. Hello from Todd. Hello to Todd. Question, do I shoot the band with microscope objectives on bellows? Of course I do. I mean, they're they're a fairly small band in the big scheme of things. I mean, I would never shoot AC/DC like that. They'd get a regular lens. No, in fact, that's a good segue for me to talk about what I did shoot them with. I had to come up here to Boston with one bag with all my gear in it, and one bag, a small bag, with my clothes in it. And it's cold up here, or it was supposed to be. So I packed some clothes and had just the backpack left, and I could only fit in it, so much gear, really. So I packed one camera and two lenses. What do you think I packed? What would you have packed? I regret doing what I did. I should have brought a wide-angle lens. I didn't. I brought a 45mm prime lens and a 70-200. And I did that because that is my favorite lens to use when I'm recording video and taking pictures of bands on stage. It's a fast 70-200, 2.8, and very bright lens, and I like the reach. I like to be able to get in close on hands and faces and what have you. But I really wish I had brought wider glass, really. Something very wide for my band shots, and something more like a 24-70. I learned a long time ago not to even mess with flash. Instead, what I do is I just use auto ISO and bracket my shots. So I shoot triplets of shots at high speed, separated by a stop and a half usually. Now that sounds pretty messy and aggressive, but these are not particularly dark rooms that you're shooting in. It's not like shooting in a smoky bar. So the studio itself had plenty of outside light coming in, and I thought that would be good enough. And the D850 will take perfectly acceptable pictures at really very high ISOs. So if there's a trick to it, it is setting your ISO to automatic, and really pretty much leaving the camera on the minimum shutter speed you can get away with. It's fine having blurry drumsticks. It really is. It looks better, and a little bit of motion artifact isn't bad with a band, I don't think. But you definitely need to make sure you're getting enough light to the sensor. So letting the ISO get it pretty much as high as it wants to is the best way to do it. But yeah, I would have taken wider lenses. You need to take every battery and every memory card that you have when you go on a trip like this. I wish I'd brought a second camera, just so I could have one loaded and ready to go. And I brought the DJI Pocket 2 by the Osmo Pocket 2. That has recorded some of the best footage for the video. It's a self-contained gimbal camera, and it really takes high quality imagery, and the gimbal is smooth and accurate. It's been a joy to work with. I also had the GoPro as a backup video and a phone, and what else did I have? A couple of other things, but by the time you packed all that in a bag, it weighed about the same as a solid block of gold that size. And yeah, it was backbreaking lugging it around airports for 12 hours on Monday. But anyway, I got everything here, and it was all intact, and I had it on the plane with me, so hopefully I can get it home in one piece. What else could I tell you about the experience? If you're going to be shooting video and stills at an event like this where a band is recording an album, what you need to do is get your mind around the stills and shoot the stills in one session, and then switch over and shoot the video, or vice versa. But it's a big mistake to try to jump back and forth between shooting video and shooting stills, because they take a different mindset. Fortunately, my friend Laura was kind enough to take a few days off work, and she flew all the way from Peoria to America to come and help me with this session this week. So she did a lot of the video, and that is fantastic because she also was able to shoot some video of me shooting stills so that I could put that in my video. So I couldn't have done any of that without her. So having an assistant who knows what they're doing and understands the business is a real bonus. So yeah, that's one to bear in mind. But don't try and be jumping back and forth because you'll end up making silly mistakes, or that's what I've done in the past. It is a lot of fun. If you like music, it's fun. But one thing to remember is if you're going to record a band that is making an album, at no point in the process of making an album does anything that they play sound like an album or even like a song. What you tend to hear is bits and pieces. You'll hear the drums cover everything up because most of the music is being made back in the booth. So only the footage that I shot back in the where the big console is can you actually hear the mixed music. And that's problematic if you're recording it for a video because you're going to have to put music in on top of it to make it sound good. Because the way they sound when they're actually recording the album is pretty shocking. Though I wouldn't say that to them. Let me answer a couple more of these questions before we get to the competition. We don't want to run out of time. So no, I do not shoot with microscope objectives. I didn't even bring one. Can you believe it? Didn't even bring one. Chris from Vienna, welcome. And David Brown asks, hello Allan and everybody else from Winthrop, Maine. Update, finally have the EL Nickel 2.8N on the way. Yeah, but you see, you've had it on the way before, David. The thing is, it's always not the right thing. So I'm just going to hold my congratulations until you actually have it. And you just acquired the 75 F4 along with a second PB6. Well, that sounds good. Yeah. Well, what is the... by EN you mean EL Nickel 75 F4. I don't know about that lens, whether or not it's any good. Somebody will. I have a feeling I know who that person is. We'll see if he answers you. Great. And let me see. Macro everything around me. Yes, I was trying to answer this question. How did I land this cushy job of coming to Boston to shoot a band? Well, it's really quite simple. I was the only person who would do it for the price that they were willing to pay, which was nothing. So that's why I'm doing this. That's how I got this cushy job. My brother asked me to do it. So there you go. It's a lot less exciting when you think about it that way, but that's okay. I needed a vacation. And yeah, so there we are. Where are we on the questions? The presume is only for my Patreon members, asks Joseph, and the answer to that is yes. Presume without an A, by the way, is just P-Zoom, is the primary bonus that my my Patreon members get. They chip in a few dollars each month to help support this role, and in exchange for that, I spend 4 hours with them in private Zoom sessions, which can be anything you guys want. We can take a walk in nature together, or we can sit around the studio and chat, or we can do graphic art like we did this last weekend. It's really whatever anybody wants to do, and we'll continue to do that. I don't really talk about it very much because I'm not trying to say, hey, this is what these people get that you aren't getting. That is not the point of it, but I do at some point want to try to encourage people to come over to Patreon because they support me, and without them I couldn't keep doing this. So I lost a couple of people this last month, which always saddens me, but I understand that people move on, and that's fine. But I would like to hope that I could replace the income from the people that left. Maybe so, maybe not. But anyway, it's not a hard sell. And a lot of the things that I do on Patreon result in a video or a live event that I do for everybody later on. It gives me the idea. I'm not trying to exclude anybody from anything, but I am trying to say thank you to my Patreon supporters. I guess that's what I'm saying. Excuse me. One more time there. Phil says the Pazoom was incredible. He hopes I can do some for the whole group. Thank you. That is great to hear. I loved it. I really enjoyed every minute of it. I always do, but this was particularly good. Question from Chris. When you prepare, he's asking about the magnifying glass, and I already answered that, so my apologies. And from Bruce. Have I ever done a video on cleaning camera sensors? Actually, yes, I did. I did a video on it and I didn't release it because at the time it seemed a bit boring, actually. I made it and I was bored making it, so I didn't release it. But I should do it. I'll do one. In fact, both my DSLR sensors need to be cleaned, so I will do that when I get home. I'll add it to the list. I've got some similar types of videos coming up. Maybe I'll combine it with something else. Let me just tell you though that the way I do it is I try very hard not to use a wet cleaner if I can get away with it. So I'll begin by inverting the camera, locking the mirror up. If most people don't have to worry about that now, but I lock the mirror up out of the way, and I just use puffs of air with a clean. I keep one rocket blower in a plastic bag in my cleaning kit box that never gets, it never sits out to gather dust, and I just try to blow everything off. I usually take a reference photograph just to see what's on the sensor, moving the camera around with the shutter open to see what shows up on the sensor and what doesn't, and then I'll give it a good blowing off. Then what I'll usually do is charge a brush. I have these soft German brushes that are absolutely gorgeous, and they're just for sensor cleaning. Blow air through them until they pick up a good static charge, and then I wipe them above the mirror. Above the sensor. I don't press the bristles down. I just go right across the top, and that pulls up a lot of stuff that doesn't get blown out. If I still have junk on the sensor, and if there's anything that looks like a liquid or an oil drop, then I have no choice, and I use the triangular pre-soaked pads, and I do the cleaning with the right size pad in one wipe, and that's it. And yeah, I can do that, and I'll show you all the steps and how I do it. But it's I don't do it as often as some people. I find that you can overdo it, and you can introduce problems if you're prodding around back in the back of the camera too much. But tell me what... Oh, you're not happy with the results is the main problem. Most of the time, if I'm unhappy with the results, it's because I used the wet cleaner too soon, and there was some oil or something, and I smeared it on the sensor. That can make the outcome poor. But let us know exactly what's happening, and we'll get our heads together and help you figure that out. Do I use generic camera batteries or only brand name? Well, it's a great question. I use generic third-party batteries for most of my equipment, but not my D850. I have original Nikon ENEL 15As for all of my Nikon DSLRs, and I have the 18A, the big double battery for the D850. I do that because it was a third-party battery that was implicated in the breakdown of my D850 shortly after I got it, and I don't do that anymore. But the cameras that I'm less particular about, I'll use the third-party batteries. Now, I do use a third-party dummy battery in all of my cameras. It's made by Wasabi. And I have one of those for every one of my cameras that I use during live streams, because they need to be on for an hour at a time, sometimes more. And that's the only way to go. And I have been extremely happy with them. I have never had a problem with them. So yeah, for that, definitely I will use them. All right, let me see. David asks, oh, that's the speed booster question. I don't know if anybody's answered that yet, but we'll see. Oh, Joseph had to drop out. He had a product shoot with a glass full of smoke. Well, I don't quite understand that. Well, he says it's a long story and he doesn't have time to tell us right now. But next week, Joseph, tell us what that was all about. And Joseph was the guy that was going to answer the questions about your speed booster, David, so we'll have to get with him some other way. All right, so once in a while, Macro Everything Around Me says, my Canon EOS RP will just randomly have to shut down and won't turn back on for hours or days using generic Artman batteries from Amazon. Get rid of them and buy Canon batteries. That is the symptom right there that's problematic. Let me tell you one other thing. This is important. If you're using your DSLR, if you have a DSLR, it wouldn't affect you. But if you're taking multiple shots on a focus rail and you notice a problem with your camera not responding, not turning on, one of the things that can happen is you can have, let's say you've taken your camera off the rail and you're out in nature taking pictures, and the shutter won't release, it won't fire. Well, excuse me, I'm going to have to blow my nose in a minute because I can't keep up with this post-nasal drip. But what'll happen is the camera's not responding, and it's because somehow at some point you press the shutter once, and if you've got your camera set on two shots, in a mirror up mode, nothing will happen and you won't get any inputs to take until you press the shutter a second time. So just be on the lookout for that. Sometimes that's all you've got to do. If you're getting an ERR message on a Nikon, the first thing you want to do is try a shutter release. That will often fix the problem. Okay, yeah, but those Artman batteries, they're problematic. They're the ones I used, by the way. All right, near Albania. Okay, that's where the Balkans are. That's where Moldova. Where is it you're from? I've forgotten. Macedonia. There you go. All right, good. Glad we took care of that. Let me see. I've just somehow jumped ahead once again. You guys are such good questions. Arthur just ordered a Nikon PB6 bellows yesterday from eBay. Good for you. Good for you. Keep them coming. Nothing quite like it. Bud agrees. Manual with auto ISO. It's a secret weapon. Auto ISO, when you're shooting in suddenly changing dim light, and you've got a camera that can handle very high ISOs, put it on auto. Put it on auto and let it struggle to keep the thing going. Arthur hunts video and photo in Boston, rents camera gear. I just found that out today. Something important just fell off my desk. I don't know what it was. Anyway, I was asking somebody today, is there a camera shop? And yeah, there's a Hunts in Boston. I didn't have to go there, but yeah, fantastic stuff. Any place to rent lenses in Boston? I'm reading these questions backwards, by the way. Yeah, there's Hunts in Boston. Have I already told you that? All right, so let me get up to where I was because I'm going backwards. You guys have so many good questions. Who's in Edmonton, Alberta? Oh, that's Western Canada, isn't it? Blimey. Okay, Joseph's got to go to solve some problems with a product shot. That must be his smoke, a glass full of smoke. Okay, knock yourself out, Joseph. We'll see you next time. And Robert is chatting away with Amy 5, and yeah, there you go. I don't know what you're talking about, so that's okay. Bland and boring, just as I remember. I am? That's a terrible thing to say. Who's bland and boring? It's very hard to keep up with these conversation threads. I'm assuming you're talking about me. I hope not, but there you go. Adam Hoyles. Have we met before? I don't think so. Welcome. How's Tampa? I love Tampa. Never snows in Tampa. Usually snows up here. Welcome. Glad to have you. I took my board exams in Tampa. Have fond memories for that place. Let me see. Amy. That sounds awful, she said to Robert Stowrost, ignoring me completely. There you go. Visit the Harvard Museum of Natural History. Arthur, I would love to visit that museum, but I can't. I won't have time. I'm going to be working every minute that I'm here. Unfortunately, I have to come back up. Adam Hoyles, oh, you got me. I didn't even know there is a Boston, Minnesota. No, a lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people didn't know a lot of things about this town, which I was going to share with you. And then I thought, well, you know, I've already insulted the place badly enough as it is. But yeah, no, it's in Massachusetts. Yeah, it's a little state-like thing up north near Maine. That's where we are. You need any more geography on that, just let me know. All right, who's a professor at Winona State? I thought that was a country music singer, Winona State. Very confused. Oh, that's what that means, Gary. I see you. Okay, I like that. I'll use that again. It's two eyeballs with cactuses hanging off them. I've got to do these competition winners. You know, I'm not going to be able to share the pictures, I don't think. Who turned in a picture called Drop? Just Drop. Because I had to disqualify your picture because it runs afoul of the community guidelines on YouTube, which read something to the effect of things that are shocking or disturbing or nauseating, you can't show them. And that actually covers quite a few of the pictures from this competition, so I've had to censor some things. The only problem is I don't know who sent me that picture. It's just called Drop, and yeah. So if you sent it and it concerns a finger and maybe some blood on the finger, yeah, let me know who you were so that I can tell you I disqualified you. It's a long story, but yeah, we're going to run through these pictures in a little bit. It was a bit of a disappointing competition, to be perfectly honest with you. Not because there weren't good pictures in it. It was just I was really looking forward to giving that lens away, and I did make that rule. So, okay, let me see. Mr. Andonovsky removed his message because I'd been rude about Macedonia, and I don't blame him. Robbie Keane, you made it. Welcome, glad you're here. North of Greece. Oh, I know where you are. You're near. You're north of Greece, but you're. What am I thinking of? I can't remember the name of the town my brother just got back from. It'll come to me in a minute. Yeah, that's lovely up there. You're on the Adriatic, right? Yeah, I've been to the other side of the Adriatic over on in Italy. Lovely. My brother's there right now, I think. Al, you sent me a message today and I didn't answer it. It's because I was busy with the music thing and then I forgot to call you back. I'll try to answer it this evening. So answering David, they're talking about EF to RF adapter. Yeah, very good according to my friends with R5s, he says. So that's good for us all to know. David says thanks. Robert, it was once said that without music, life would be a mistake. Who said that? That was a very clever thing to say. Life would be a drag without music, that's for sure. But yeah, it depends on the music, though. Some of the music's pretty awful. Yeah, but by and large, I think you're right. Hang on a sec. Hang on just a moment. A proud liberal just wrote this in the chat. I can't believe this. John Furlong, Paul Colossi, Andy Leach, Craig Walls, who's my brother, and Sean Fogarty. That's the Bludgers. Well done, you. There should be a prize for leaving a message like that. That's the Bludgers. That's my brother's band. Well done, you. I'm so impressed. They'll be impressed too. I will actually need to print this off and show this to them tomorrow. They will be thrilled. All right, great, good job, guys. All right. So they're still chatting back and forth, David and Al, about this speed booster business. A speed booster is something presumably that artificially makes the aperture wider by I don't know, collapsing the lens. I don't really understand how that would work, but I'll let Al figure it out because he's on this case. All right. Yeah, I honestly don't know. And David, you and I have talked about this before, and I gave you a non-committal I don't know answer. I still don't. So Chris is saying, I think I'll look for a Leica, Nikon, or Olympus stereo microscope. You should. You really should. My Leica is so enjoyable to use. It is so bright and crisp and clear that I'll go to the microscope to do something, and I will spend an hour examining bugs. I mean, because you can just see everything so clearly. Put a nice camera on it, take some pictures. You'll never regret buying a decent stereo microscope. You will regret buying a cheap one because you just won't use it. You won't be tempted to use it. And you can get an old MZ6, which is the microscope that I have, for, well, you can get them depending on where you source them from for a very good price compared to what you pay for a new inexpensive Chinese one. So I strongly recommend you look for one. It looks like I'm having a little bit of slowdown there on the speed. I'm in the hotel on their free Wi-Fi, which is the only Wi-Fi they have. So if my signal was lost there, I see we've got 0.2% dropped frames. So we've only got 15 minutes left, and I've got to get to these pictures. I did go through them all. I'm gonna run through them, and I'm gonna tell you this is not going to be anything like as complete a discussion as I would normally do. But I do want to hit the high points. The high points being that Baconmeister, who submitted 2 pictures, one of them I can't show you because it has my address tattooed on a skin tag, which is called the picture is called skin tag luggage tag. Now, it's very funny, but I think it violates several rules, a good taste rule certainly, but I don't want to put all my phone numbers and everything up on there. He must have got it off the website anyway, so it's probably not a very good secret. But Baconmeister did not win the competition with that, though he tried. What was the other one you sent in, Mr. Meister? Because we should talk about that while we're here. I'm gonna find it so that we can cover it at the same time. You know what? I'm gonna go in the order that I've got them in. Robert Stowrust with the ring on the finger. I don't have the names of the pictures, so I'm gonna make them up as I go along. It's something to do with a ring on a finger. I like this picture. I wonder if there's any way I could show it to you. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give it a try, and if everything goes all to heck, then we'll Just cross your fingers. We're going to try this now. Can you see that? I'll just keep talking until somebody sends me a message. Bud, would you do me a favor and text me if these pictures are not showing up? If you cannot see a picture on your screen of a gold ring on a finger, please send me a text, Bud. Oh, my phone's gone missing. Okay, not to worry. So this is a nice picture by Robert. It tells a story, or the ring tells a story. I like it. It's mostly in good sharp focus. The lighting's clever. This was an honorable mention, definitely, and a very nice one. I accidentally showed Baconmeister's first picture. Better not show it again, though. I will definitely... Oh, I just showed it again. Okay, so I'll close that one. There we go. All right, there's one other that I can't show, the one called Drop. So we'll close this one down and we'll go to number 3. This is from S. Remus, and I like this one. It's Sand Dunes at Night is the name of it. And it is hands holding themselves in a nice panorama type image. I'm just going to... I'll tell you what. I'll just keep going. Yeah, I will, and I'll keep my ear open for the phone. So text me if you aren't seeing pictures. All right. So the next picture is one of the. This one actually placed. Yeah, this one was the 3rd place. I like this picture. It was very clever. It's called the Finger Family, or words to that effect. I'm not sure what this is here, unless that's a cat. It just occurred to me, it's either a cat or a dog. They're whiskers, eyes, nose, and 2 pointy ears. And this is mum and dad and baby. Yeah, I like it. It's a bit disturbing because there's no index finger, leading me to believe that possibly somebody in the family had an accident with a chainsaw. But yeah, there you go. I like this. I thought it was clever and it tells a good story. So that's Nils. Well done, Nils. 3rd place. Let me see who's next. They seem to be reordering themselves. This is from Mihai, and I absolutely love this picture. It's very it's very interesting. It's very what's the word I'm trying to think of here? It conjures up a lot of different thoughts. Like, what is that drop on the eye? Is that a raindrop or is that a tear? Tears don't normally get up there, but it's just lovely. It's fascinating. The lovely clean lines of the black lashes against the white eye. I love this. This actually also got a 2nd place tie for this competition. So 2nd place tie for Mihai for the title One Drop. This is different than the one that's just Drop, okay? That's the one I can't show you. So well done, Mihai. 2nd place tie, lovely photograph. All right, let me see if I can do this. We had a lot of eyeballs, and some of them were good. Some of them were not as good, but yeah, it was a problem across the board because it wasn't a really original idea, though this is getting close. This is the camera that it was shot with, and it's very nice, and you got the focus great. So it's good as eye shots go, but I'll tell you, when you've looked at a lot of them, you start to want to not see eyelid skin. It's not the most attractive skin on the body. The really exciting part of the image is, of course, the colors in the iris and the blood vessels sometimes. You got a little bit of a problem with the angle of your light. This was good, but not quite good enough to snatch a prize. Now, there was another, let me see. Oh no, we've been there and done that. This is me not having a way to do this properly because I haven't had a chance to separate these out. This is from WPB, and this was the other second place. Now, it's okay. My phone is bleeping off. I'm guessing that means that I have. Yeah, I'm not going to answer it. By the way, I'm just going to switch back to me. So I'm assuming that there wasn't that the pictures weren't showing up. That's the only reason anybody would be paging me right now. So we're just gonna do without. Let me see. Let me make sure that there were any. Let me see. Can't see the whole picture. Slightly off view. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Listen, I'm not gonna try to do this. I'm trying to do everything on a small, tiny screen, and I'm just gonna tell you who won and who came in second, and third, and who got honourable mentions, and then in the written piece I will show the pictures and tell you why I think what I think. Okay, so sorry about that, the bit where the pictures weren't showing properly, but I have told you so far that the Nils family of fingers was a third place. I told you that Mihai with the lovely eye with the black lashes with the little droplet on it was a second place tie. The other second place tie was that beautiful picture of, I think, a little boy's eye looking through into a cave. Now, it's a Gulliver is in the title, somewhere in the title. So obviously this is a giant child looking into a cave. Because at first when I looked at it, I thought, well, this cave is all out of proportion because the ferns are too small. Well, the ferns were only small because it's a gigantic kid, apparently. But what I loved about it was the incredible clarity of the eye. It was beautiful. I also loved the reflections in the eye, which showed some greenery and what looks like a river. They're all blended in. It was like these layers were partially obscured. It's a beautiful, beautiful picture. I really loved it. And you know, it just occurred to me, I don't know who WBP is, and then it struck me that's not you, is it, bud? I think it might be. Either way, this is a lovely picture. I love it. It's clever. Now, as I think it's a W Parrott who turned this in, I can see why all the beautiful touches with Photoshop were there. So whoever it was, Bud or not, this is a second place tie. Now, there were a lot of other pictures. There were a lot of other pictures of eyes that didn't quite cut it for one reason or another, and I'll let you know what that was when I write all this up. But the winner, I'm going to see if I can show the winner. I probably can't, but it was by T-Beck, who has won before, I believe. And this picture that he turned in was beautiful, and it was the watch. It is called Time Stands Still, and should I try and I am. I'm gonna try one last time to show this. So bear with me for 2 seconds. Here we go. I'm gonna just give it a try, because I want you to see this. No, there's something in the way, isn't there? All right. Yeah. So you can't see it because there's another thing in the way. Let me try to get rid of that. There. Nope, that's not doing it either, I don't think. Nope. Okay, forget it. We're going back to where we were before. All right, so it's the picture of a wrist with a watch on it. Now, several of the pictures I disqualified because they they were fantastic pictures, but the body part was not the feature that was important. And you could argue that it's not the feature that's most important in this watch picture, but it feels like it is. In some of the other pictures where there was, like Bruce turned in a lovely red-eyed fly on a hand, but it felt like a picture of a fly on a hand. This feels like a picture of a wrist that happens to have a watch on it. And there was something about it that felt more personal. So anyway, I loved this picture, and T-Beck has a way of turning in pictures that are very emotive to me. The picture of the hand holding up the slide from several months ago, fantastic. And this is the same kind of thing. The quality of the shot is lovely. The texture of the skin, the color of the skin, the lighting, the reflections off the watch. It was a beautiful picture. And I will come up with a prize, and we'll negotiate something so that you get rewarded for winning this, even if we don't do the lens thing this time around. I'll check with Robert too, because Robert Wester donated the prize, and I'll see what he says. If he says no, you said you were going to give it away, then that's what we'll do. Okay, so sorry about the not being able to show the pictures. I really didn't want to do that to you with this setup here, but you know, it's a miracle that we got on at all and only dropped 1% of our frames. It is already 10 o'clock, so we're done, and I'm going to say goodbye for now. Let me just very quickly run through the questions and make sure there's nothing that I missed. I missed a lot, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I really missed a lot. You know what? I'm going to keep going for another couple of minutes and just answer these questions. If the Nikon won't fire and shutter won't release, turn off the camera, hold the shutter release down, and turn the camera on again. Yes, that's the reset, the soft reset, I think. And Bud is absolutely right. Well done, Bud. Thank you for correcting me on that. Joseph is back. He went away and then came back. Amazing. He wasn't gone for long, so that was not a big problem he had to fix. Robert Storost, small, dark, smoky veins, nightmare, blue lighting, horror. Whatever that means, Alistair, yes, I agree. Yeah, right. And they're just chatting amongst themselves, so we'll let that go on. Larry... Oh yeah, you're talking about eyes, aren't you? Photographing eyes are difficult. It's much easier to photograph somebody else's eye, and that's what I would recommend you do. You know that when the topic is body part, it's mostly going to be eyes and fingers. So the way to have won this would have been come up with something else. Another body part. An ear, maybe. There's one. There were several teeth that got honourable mentions. One in particular, but I kept looking at some of these and thinking, you know, if you'd just added this or that, it would have made it more interesting. But you don't care about that, do you? I don't blame you. All right, do I use a camera battery in my studio? No, I use AC power. I use a dummy battery. It's in my bag over there. It looks like an EL15A, but it's on a wire and it plugs into the wall on all my studio cameras. I don't use batteries in any of them. So that's the question for a proud liberal there. Acufine and Diafine, Tri-X's best friend, push processing 3200 and 6400 ASA. They're talking about film. I don't know what that is. It's something you used to put in cameras before there was room for a card. Al, hang on. Robert and Al are going back and forward on something. Oh, they're talking about taking pictures at concerts. Yeah. I should have answered more of these questions earlier on, shouldn't I? You're all chatting amongst yourselves, which is great. Robert says Hunt's in Boston is the oldest camera store in the USA. I had no idea, or I would have gone there. I thought it was just part of a chain. No, I guess it's not. Maybe I'll go there tomorrow. I won't have time, but maybe I'll try. Jeff clarified. He was talking about Boston being bland and boring, as you remember. Yeah, it is. It really is. That's the street down there. Pretty bland and boring. And I'm in a fairly high activity part of Boston. There's nothing going on out there. The street's deserted. Let me see. By picking up my laptop, I just moved all of the screen bits around. So, macro everything around me. Got some buy one, get one frames. Yeah, at Michael's. And they will work. Yeah. I don't see why they wouldn't. They're good, those frames. Though the best ones, just go to the thrift shop and get them and then clean them up. Now, let me see. Al, I will get to your email, I promise. And Bruce is thanking Al for concerns about his sensor cleaning. And, yeah. So, have you guys taken care of it? I think so. A surgeon and a rock musician. Well, but the thing is, he's also an ER doctor. So we're both doctors. We're the only two doctors ever in our family. But yeah, he got bored with being a doctor, though, and wanted to be a rock musician instead. I got bored with being it and wanted to be a broke photographer instead. So we both got our wishes. But yeah, it's good to see him. I haven't seen him since COVID, which is a long time. In fact, I haven't been out of town since then. All right. Robert and Alistair are chatting back. Oh, Rory Gallagher. These guys are talking about seeing some of my heroes. Rory Gallagher was an Irish... Was he Irish? I think he was an Irish blues rock musician from when I was a kid. And boy, he was really good. His concerts were fantastic. I saw him at the Dome in Brighton. And he died of liver failure when he was in his early 30s, I think. Somebody will have to correct me on that, but boy, what a show he would put on. Robin Trower was another one, or Trower. Yeah. Oh, I could go on for a lot about those guys. Fantastic. All right. In case Amy doesn't say this later on down the thing, or Bud, leave me a thumbs up if this didn't nauseate you too badly, because it's a good thing for me to do that. Let me see. So yeah, they're chatting. I'm going to read these messages later because I want to hear what happened with Rory at the concert. Now everybody's asking me to fix the pictures. Yeah, I can't do anything right now. I can't see the whole picture. Yeah, I can't see any of it. That's the thing. I was flying blind. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. I really am. What's the topic for April's contest? Go to Discord. I wrote an article at the weekend and I have given you the topics for the next 3 months. And I've forgotten what they are. No, May is flowers. June is stereo. And I seriously have forgotten what this month is. But I posted it on Discord. So if you go to Discord and look it up, it was a difficult one. Oh, decomposition. That's it. Rot. It's anything that would sound like that. Anything that brings to mind rot, decomposing, and you want interesting and nice looking. So, use your imagination. But that's what it is. Degeneration, breaking down. That's it. That's for next month. And then flowers, the month after in May. Then in June, stereo. You got it? It's all written down in Discord, and I'll post it over on Patreon as well. Sorry about that. Okay, so Holly, Holly came back to post on Joseph's PC. I don't know if Joseph knows about this, but she came back to say good night. Well, good night, Holly. I'm terribly, terribly confused. But then Alistair says, you know, the next 3 months competitions are listed on Discord. All right, everybody's leaving. I don't blame you. I'm leaving too. It's late. Thank you guys for coming by. I'm sorry this was a bit scrappy and difficult. It's just I'm glad we did it though. I'm glad I got to check in with you, and hopefully the Boston video will be more watchable than this. I'll see you guys at the live stream on Thursday if you make it. Otherwise, I will see you after the weekend. I have videos coming up. Lots of videos coming up. So we will see you again then. Take care. Thanks for coming. And yeah, stay safe. See you soon. Bye-bye.